Points and promises made during the following program are not those of WHNZ AM, its staff, management, or parent company, Clear Channel Communications Incorporated.
This is the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert, Jamie Meloni.
Hi again, everybody. Happy Monday and welcome once again to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. I am your host, Jamie Meloni, a local real estate agent with Coldwell Banker, and I invite you to find me and my listings at my website off air at tampabayradio.com. Again, tampabayradio.com. And I invite you to also tune in every Mondays at noon as my show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. As always, we got a great show planned for you. Later on the show, we'll be talking with Prospect Mortgage. Got guests Michael Lara and Brian Powell in studio, so we'll give you some mortgage updates and a lot of great information on the mortgage markets and how to better prepare yourself in dealing with the loan and end of the business when you're searching for a home here in the Tampa Bay region. And also, we'll be highlighting GroutWorks today on my real estate show. Debbie Wilson and Sue Canner with GroutWorks are in the studio as well, and we'll be chatting with them a little bit later on. Also in studio today, Stella Giudicelli, lovely real estate agent with Coldwell Banker as well. Stella, how are you doing today?
I am very good. Happy to be with everyone. We have a crowded studio, and I'm excited to see what everyone has to say today.
And as always, in studio with me, my Streamcast guy, John, with Tampa Bay Multimedia. John, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good.
Doing great. Did you catch that World Cup game this weekend?
No.
No, not a fan of that?
Didn't have time.
Didn't have time. What were you doing? It's so busy.
We had a wedding. Show to do.
Interesting. So you're quite busy here with this Tampa Bay Multimedia thing.
Yes, sir.
He's the guy running my Streamcast, and you can catch all my shows live on tampabayradio.com. Just go over to the show info tab, and you can see us live in studio, and also on the show info tab, you can find all of my past shows. All of my podcasts and Streamcasts are there. So I invite you over there, as there's a lot of great information. I am a bank-owned foreclosure specialist here in the Tampa Bay region, been in business 7 years, and so you'll pick up a lot of great tips and information on how to deal with the bank properties in the Tampa Bay region, as well as a lot of great past guests that I've had on my show. Interesting thing in the news, recently, the drones that are kind of taking, the real estate business by storm here, the photography that, can use these drones for. John, have you seen this stuff in the news at all?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We use it all the time, actually.
Yeah, it's interesting in that, there's video here was produced here in Tampa, the downtown Tampa video and drones were used. And you said people that produced the video got in trouble, correct?
They were cited by the FAA.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. And our company has put out a directive on this. Coldwell Banker has put out a directive that states that, real estate professionals should use caution when using drone technology to photograph real estate, in part because it is, commercially regulated by the FAA, and the FAA is, saying that, we do not want people operating this unmanned aircraft in the air, and so a lot of companies have sprung up to offer this. Is this something that you've explored at all? I know you're into technology and, and video.
We use it all the time. A lot of our commercials that we shoot, especially when you're doing a company like Ari's Roofing, for instance, we use it on them because they're such a vast company. They have a ton of employees. Well, the best shot is to go high and just float over them, so that way you get that nice wide shot. You can get all the employees and all the gear and all the equipment.
But there's no official guidance yet on how the use of these unmanned aircraft.
Actually, there is.
Okay, what do you use?
There is an ABDG zone. An A zone is typically it's your international airports. And it's well above 18 to 60,000 feet. So you can't, we wouldn't fly that anyway. But we fall in under what we call the G zone, and that's anywhere from 700 to 1,200 feet that we're legal to fly in. But if we're doing it commercially, we're supposed to file a flight plan with the FAA saying we're going to be in this area at this time and we're going to shoot with this drone. Typically, the people that are using it just at home, because I bought one a long time ago just to play with, we're never going to see 100 feet anyway. It's just because the lower grade aerial copters don't have that type of range. Now, the ones that we use commercially have almost a 2,000-foot ceiling that we have complete control on, and a lot more flight time. So that's where it all falls into difference, whether you're commercial or whether you're just doing it for fun.
Because I was doing some research here over the weekend on this, because I find this pretty interesting, and it's kind of fascinating that we're at a point to where we're actually talking about this. It's kind of like we've taken the video games off the television set, and now people have their real life video games. And I was reading that Congress has tasked the FAA with developing formal guidance by September 2015. So I guess it's not formally set in stone as to what people can do with obviously it's still considered FAA controls the skies.
Absolutely.
And I guess they can issue fines at their own behest.
It's their discretion, yeah.
But I was also reading just last month the University of Virginia was producing a promotional video for the university, and a drone operator was brought up on a lawsuit by the FAA, and that court case ended up getting tossed out. So we got some legal precedents here to maybe kind of stand in favor of drone technology for real estate photography, or just promotional videos, and just real estate.
Until the FAA levies down the rules, right now we all fall into what we call that G height, so we can't go above 1,200 feet. I know a lot of places you can go to, and they have a park for helicopters and airplanes, and they tell you to stay under 400 feet. That's the FAA want. That's their want. Now that's not the rules, because again we fall into that G category where we can go up to 1,200. But if in those areas, they've actually have a park for these places for these people to fly their planes. Now drones have just become you can go buy one at Brookstone, and the range on that thing is probably 60, 70 feet. 35 minutes flying time. So again, we're not those kind of people are not exceeding. But in our industry, they've got the drones now, and the aerial, especially the bigger ones, that can go up to 500, 600, 700 feet.
Yeah, and the pricing of the technology is very competitive. I mean, you can get a basic package for $150, $200 to photograph.
Yeah, they're not expensive.
Versus the typical you get a aerial photography from a person operating a plane craft.
Right.
And I don't even know what that costs. I've never done that.
A good plane will run you around $700 to $1,000.
So as you can see, that there's going to be strong demand from real estate professionals for the use of drone technology to enhance the photographs. Yep. And I've seen a number of them. You can tell from within the MLS from just the standpoint for the photograph is taken. And they do get some amazing shots.
Great shots.
And you can also use them interior as well. You can in your large homes to get shots, from up from the ceiling and down. So you can get the shots, that you would not normally be able to get with a traditional photographer or aerial photography.
And it's all high definition, which means even if you want to use that footage as a still, you can pull still out, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, and the FAA also has I was reading a pending subpoena out against a New York real estate brokerage for drone use, and so our legal department, has advised caution, amongst all the callback regions using it.
That's the videographer's got to take into account where he's at. New York City is a no-fly zone.
Right.
Whether it's a helicopter, little toy helicopter or not, it's a no-fly zone.
Yeah, I can imagine there's obviously much tighter regulations than here, and there's no official guidance, as well from the National Association of Realtors either. And so, if you're a real estate professional, listening to the show and you're using the drone technology, for photographs, just be sure you're exercising caution. Just be mindful of the fact that the FAA does regulate the airspace. And there has been some fines levied upon people. We got the one case here that has just been thrown out. So maybe that'll set some precedent to promote the use of drone technology for photographs. But you have other issues too. You have privacy concerns if you're flying over a certain person's backyard to get to a certain house.
Yep.
That person may say that you're being spied on. And there was a Florida law passed last year. Passed the Freedom from Unwanted Surveillance Act, which governed the use of drones for the police force, in which they couldn't use a drone, to spy or to look in upon somebody else's house, without a warrant. And so realtors could be brought up on privacy
that will trickle
concerns.
down to everybody.
Yeah, and you also have safety concerns if the vehicle were to break down in flight, and obviously you could hurt somebody or some things on the ground. Interesting thing I was reading about drones too. If the batteries begin to die, they can use their GPS to find their way back home. The ones that you've worked with, do they do that?
The ones we use, yes, are GPS tracked, because that way we don't Our drones are typically anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000, so we're not buying the.
But when the batteries are running low, do they return home on their own?
Well, what they do is they set themselves down. They just kind of take themselves over, and they just float down, and they'll stay, and then they'll GPS track.
Okay, so there's no risk of you forgetting to change or charge the batteries and it just dying in the air. So
no.
That's interesting.
And we know when those things go up, we know how long they've got.
And another thing I was reading about is they say birds like to attack these things. You ever had any issues with birds attacking?
No. As a matter of fact, we used ours to film an osprey nest, and we had to be so many feet away. If not, that was obstruction, and we could have gotten a fine for that. So you have to know your laws. You have to know your rules, because everything that pertains to humans, animals, and property, you have to know those rules when you're flying these things, because if not, you can get fined.
Interesting stuff. So if you're just tuning in, you've been listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 WINS WHNZ. Stay tuned here. Coming back from the break, we're going to be talking a little bit about the channel side redevelopment, some news coming out in the last couple of weeks, and something going on this week that's going to kind of play a major part in the future of channel side. So please stay tuned. Back in a moment.
Thinking about buying a home? Find out how the HUD Home Store can help you. Visit HUDHomestore.com. Look at HUD homes available for sale near you or nationwide. Why HUD Home Store? HUD will pay up to 3% of the buyer's closing cost. The price of the home is based on an FHA as-is appraisal, which is already completed, saving you an average of $400. And there is an owner-occupant priority bidding period during the first 30 days. Want to know more? Visit HUDHomestore.com.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage. Since opening its doors 120 years ago, Stewart Title Company has established a lasting legacy of providing professional title services. Even other title insurance companies know Stewart Title Company because they do their actual underwriting for them. Stewart is here to provide a wide range of resources to help improve any real estate transaction. To learn more about protecting yourself against hidden title hazards that may threaten your financial investment, call Melissa Stoddard at 813-431-8025. That's 813-431-8025. In the market for a reverse mortgage? Contact Access Reverse, a local company with personalized service in the Bay Area. Call them at 727-347-0305 or visit accessreverse.com for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to your home and speak with you about the best options for your reverse mortgage. Plus, they offer the lowest closing costs. Don't just get a reverse mortgage. Get the right reverse mortgage with Access Reverse. Visit accessreverse.com. NMLS number 1179063. You're listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show with local expert Jamie Meloni. Now, here's Jamie.
Hi again, everybody. Thanks for staying tuned in to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 WINS WHNZ. If you're finding my show for the first time, I invite you to tune in every Mondays at noon as my show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. Off air, you can find me at my website, tampabayradio.com. Again, tampabayradio.com. And also, you can find all of my real estate listings on that site as well. I am a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker here in Tampa, Florida. And you can find all of my pre-listed properties as well. We got a lot of those properties. And I always explain to people when we're assigned properties from the banks, they don't hit the market immediately. You'll be in our inventory for weeks to months before ever hitting the market. And so only on my website at tampabayradio.com will you see those listings so you can begin to conduct your own due diligence and get ready to make an offer. They will all eventually hit the MLS, but you'll be one of the first people to know about these properties and get your offer in ahead of everybody else. So again, head over to tampabayradio.com, and on the homepage you'll see a tab that says pre-list properties. Just click on that and you will find all of my properties. In the news this week, tomorrow we're going to be talking about the channel side redevelopment here. I'm going to preface that. The bankruptcy court will be deciding on Lightning owner Jeff Vinnick's winning bid on this struggling development. People that aren't familiar, with this, the channel side development has been, embroiled in bankruptcy issues here for the last couple of years. The prior owner, the Irish Bank Resolution Corp, they let the development fall into foreclosure, and the bank has now sent the property to auction, and it was only 3 bidders have been vying for this property. The Port of Tampa, which owns the land, leases it to operators, and the Port of Tampa was one of the bidders, but their bid was too low. They come in around the $3 million mark. And then last year, a company known as Liberty Channelside LLC has been vying to take control of this development, but their bid was rejected. But over the last few weeks, Jeff Vinnick's company has placed a bid that has won the approval of the Port of Tampa, and then tomorrow it goes over to the bankruptcy court, but Liberty Channelside LLC has filed, an objection to the bid, and so we'll wait to see what results in that. But there's an article in the paper here over the weekend that was showing Jeff Vinnick's, vision for this development, and would greatly love to see somebody such as himself take control of, this area. He obviously has a huge vested interest in the downtown Tampa area, and Channelside has just been unfortunately a struggling development. And you would think, with all the, the businesses in the area and with the stadium in the area, that you would see much more activity, especially, coming out of, a hockey game. Everybody kind of, would go over to Channelside, but that doesn't seem to be the practice and everything through the years. And so we need somebody with vision and with, with strong financial backing, which, Jeff Vinnick's company does have. He's put $50 million into the renovation of the Tampa Bay Times Forum, and he has a strong vested interest in the downtown Tampa area. And who knows, maybe we could even put in a better bid to get the baseball team over to here. I've been wanting to see the Tampa Bay region, or Tampa, get the Tampa Bay Rays for many years, as many of us have, and to get it out of St. Petersburg. Don't know if we'll see that day ever come. But, anyways, this week, tomorrow, bankruptcy court is going to rule on Jeff Vinnick's winning bid for the struggling development. His bid was declared the highest and best at the auction that occurred a couple of weeks ago. And tomorrow they'll rule on that. But again, we're going to have a legal battle here with Liberty Channelside LLC, which is another developer that has been in the game for the last couple of years, but just has not been able to take control of the development.
Do you know the amounts of the bids?
Jeff Vinnick's bid was, I think they said, was about $7.1 million, and I think the Liberty Channelside upped their bid to $10 million. I was reading. But then again, it's not just about the bid; it's also about the vision and getting the support of the Port of Tampa, which owns the development, and Jeff Vinnick's has that support and obviously has the resources. So I think a lot of people would like to see him take control of the development and put something out there that can make us proud of the downtown Tampa area, which is such a lovely area to begin with. So I want to go ahead and go into my first guest here. I've got Brian Powell and Michael Lara of Prospect Mortgage in studio with me today. Brian Powell, he's the area manager with Prospect Mortgage. And after studying medicine at the University of Akron, the Florida climate coupled with a desire to pursue a career outside of medicine, Brian found his way to the Tampa Bay area and the growing housing market led him to work as a mortgage broker with the home buyers in our region. Since then, he has spent nearly 20 years in the mortgage and financial services industry and has previously held senior level positions with both independent mortgage lenders as well as large federal banks. Brian joined Prospect Mortgage in 2011 and now serves as their West Florida area manager. Since joining Prospect, he has enjoyed their purchase bonus focus and continues to enjoy working directly with home buyers. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So tell me a little bit about Prospect Mortgage.
I always consider Prospect Mortgage one of the largest mortgage lenders that most people outside of our business probably haven't heard of. You don't see us on TV all the time like a lot of the bigger lenders, but we are a purchase-focused lender. We're considered one of the largest independent residential lenders in the country. What we mean by an independent lender means that we are not owned by a bank. Okay, that means that we're lending our money versus a bank where we're not considered a depository lender. So we're an independent lender. We're backed by a large fund named Sterling Group. It's about a $5 billion private equity fund that backed us. And Prospect came into existence in 2007, right as the mortgage markets were blowing up. They found that when they were looking around, that as companies were having issues with liquidity, that type of thing, there were some very talented people that became available in the market. So they took advantage of that and put together a great team. And post mortgage meltdown, we came out of the ashes. And since then, it's been a good ride.
Okay, so Prospect Mortgage is privately held, you said?
Yes, we are.
And is a national brand as well?
Yes, we are. Yes, we lend in all 50 states.
Okay, and what type of products do you lend on? I mean, do you utilize, home path financing, 203K loans? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. We have, as a private lender, we've put together our focus that we want to be a purchase-focused lender. There's a lot of lenders out there over the past 3 or 4 years that really jumped on the refi train. And not that we didn't do some refis, but we really focused our company on working with home buyers and working with real estate agents, helping them get into homes. So as that, we have a very broad spectrum of products and programs that we have to offer. We try to focus as much as we can into bringing new products to market so that we can give buyers additional means to get into a home. We do an awful lot of home path renovation, home path properties, 203K, and then of course your standard FHA, conventional, the standard mix.
Okay. Now, does Prospect offer any type of financing that's specific to just Prospect?
It's going to be an interesting one that I'm sure we're going to discuss a little bit more. We do have a special program that we have under the Home Path Renovation program. Home Path being a Fannie Mae product, and some of the homes that aren't necessarily in as good a shape require renovation. We have a special program that we deal with investors that allows us to do typically the max number of properties that that can get financed by a typical lender would be 10. We have a special waiver with Fannie Mae where we can do 11 to 20 on that particular program.
Okay, save that point there. I want to come back to that here after the break and everything, and talk more about that because I think that's a great product that investors in the Tampa Bay region can use. Now, you mentioned home path financing, and for the listenership out there, when we talk about home path financing, that is a product that's put out by Fannie Mae, which is a large holder of foreclosed properties, and properties that are owned by them, you can utilize home path financing, and the advantage of that is there's no appraisal required, and there's some other perks. What are some other perks of home path financing other than no appraisal?
Probably the one that people utilize the most is that at some lower credit scores, it gives you a smaller down payment versus a traditional conventional mortgage, and there's also no mortgage insurance involved in that. So when the home path program was kind of birthed out with Fannie Mae, the mortgage insurance companies, the private mortgage insurance companies, weren't so anxious to jump in and give mortgage insurance at the riskier loans. So what happened is this Fannie Mae came up with the Home Path program, which waived the mortgage insurance requirements. It was based on underwriting criteria, but not necessarily the same that the private mortgage insurance carriers were doing.
And it's been a great product, and a challenge in selling the bank properties is the condition issues. All the properties are sold as is, and the Fannie Mae Home Path mortgage allowed us to, convey the property through a mortgage that didn't require an appraisal, so we didn't hit those lender-required repair issues. Unfortunately, as I discussed on my show last week, the Home Path product is going away in October of this year. So a lot of real estate professionals that deal in the foreclosure markets, as well as Fannie Mae asset managers, are distraught over that decision. It'll make selling the properties, which are already a challenge to begin with, that much more difficult.
It's going to be an interesting transition. You receive a lot of the same information we do. We're not sure exactly what the changes in the program are going to be. Home Path is still going to continue to issue properties, but we're not sure what the lending requirements are going to be at that point. So it can be an interesting couple months here after that.
Yeah, the guidance that we've been provided is that as of October of this year, there will no longer be home path financing offered on any Fannie Mae properties, and so you'll have to have a property under contract by the beginning of October of this year, and it's got to close by the end of the year. And after that, as we understand it, there's no more home path financing. So stay tuned here. We'll be talking more with Brian Powell of Prospect Mortgage here after the break, and about this great investment product that you could use for purchases in the Tampa Bay region.
If you've noticed embarrassing spots on your silverware and your dishes, or perhaps your laundry looks dull and dingy, or you're tired of lugging bottled water from the grocery store, you need to do what I've done. Call 1-888-WATER-99 and talk to the Connecticut people at Superior Water, because with Connecticut, your dishes and silverware will be spotless. Your laundry is going to be softer and brighter, and it's going to smell better. And, of course, taste the delicious difference. And, of course, you're going to save a ton of money on bottled water. I've had Connecticut in my house for years, and it's still going strong. Whether you've got nasty city water or rusty well water, the experts at Superior can fix it with no timers, no adjustments, no sodium. They've been serving the Bay Area since 1969, and for a limited time, you can have a Connecticut water softener in your home for as little as $33.50 a month. For details, call 1-888-WATER-99 or text the word WATER to 77948.
Looking for high-quality supplements, a knowledgeable staff, and affordable prices? Visit Gulf Coast Nutrition, located in Palm Harbor at the corner of Alternate 19 and Alderman Road, in the Publix Shopping Plaza. You'll find all your favorite brands like Renew Life, Doctor's Best, Nature's Way, and many, many more. You'll also find your favorite sports nutrition supplements, all at competitive prices. Gulf Coast Nutrition offers nutritional lab testing and many physician brand supplements, such as Zymogen, that you won't find in other supplement stores. Be sure to sign up for the free rewards program, available in-store at the corner of Alternate 19 and Alderman Road, or online at gulfcoastnutrition.com. Call 727-754-2900. Ready for a healthier you? Listen to Gulf Coast Nutrition with Dr. V and Brenda B to find out what supplements may be right for you. Gulf Coast Nutrition with Dr. V and Brenda B every Wednesday from 11:30 until noon on 1250 WINS WHNZ. Need AC? Call Simpson Air, the coolest guys in town. Log on to thecoolestguys.com.
This report is brought to you by Nexium 24 Hour. Now, for the first time ever, the purple pill is available without a prescription for frequent heartburn. Introducing Nexium 24 Hour, over-the-counter protection from the #1 prescribed acid-blocking brand. This is Nexium Level Protection.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center, slow ride southbound 275 heading out of the I-4 interchange into about Howard. Watch for some slowdowns through this stretch. The Bay Bridges are in good shape. The Veterans and the Summit Expressways checking in delay-free. There was an accident in Pinellas County that's causing some minor delays along Ulmerton Road at 119th Street. If you see a problem on the roads, call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uter Wake Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line at 866-545-9595.
1250 WINS Weather Center forecast. Highs today getting in the upper 80s and see some low 90 temps in the hotter spots. Right now it's 87 in Tampa, Clearwater 88, St. Pete at 86 degrees, 90 Bradenton. And chance of showers today about 40-50%, mainly away from the coastlines. Had some develop through Manatee, Sarasota. That was pretty much right along I-75 and now kind of moving a bit northeasterly. And also a bit of showers just north of St. Petersburg and Pinellas. And tonight's lows in the upper 70s. Tomorrow, rain chance down a bit to about 40%. Wall Street today, markets are up. Dow gaining 131, NASDAQ up 31. The S&P index green by 11, down to 17,074. 1250 WINS WHNZ.
You're listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show with local expert Jamie Meloni. Now, here's Jamie.
Hi again, everybody. Thanks for staying tuned in to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 WINS WHNZ. If you're just finding my show for the first time, I invite you to tune in every Mondays at noon as my show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. If you were following us here before the break, we've been talking with Brian Powell of Prospect Mortgage all about some mortgage products and some great products that they have available for investors in the Tampa Bay region. Stella, you had a question you wanted to mention off air.
Yes, Brian, we know that Fannie Mae favors the purchase of homes by home residents.
Yes.
And so I was wondering, as far as home path financing is concerned, is it only available to home residents?
No, it's available for owner occupants, people that are going to move in, families or whatever. It's also available for second homes and for investors as well.
Okay, so that's great news. And I have another question about this home path financing. Who is stopping it, and why are they wanted to remove it?
We really don't know. It just kind of came out of left field. We're seeing a lot of changes kind of come through the real estate mortgage business. I announced on the show last couple weeks ago with HUD properties, they're no longer providing the appraisals, which historically they have always provided. Upon acquisition of the properties, they have the properties appraised, and they're no longer providing those to borrowers. And now we've got home path financing being eliminated by Fannie Mae. I don't know. I don't know if this has to do with you hear all these rumors about the CFPB, the new Consumer Financial Protection Bureau that's out there that's regulating the industry. I don't know if it has anything to do with that. There's been Just a lot of misinformation, just kind of things that kind of popping up out of nowhere. Even the home path thing was kind of out of nowhere, and the HUD appraisal thing was not even. There's not even an official mortgagee letter out on guidance from that. That's expected, and a mortgagee letter is something that that HUD provides to the lenders on this is the guidelines, this is the regulation. There's not formal formal guidance just yet, so that's expected. But as of right now, a lot of brokers are out there confused. A lot of lenders are confused. They're like, "Where's the appraisal? You got a HUD property under contract. What do I do?" And so I'm still just kind of playing it by ear. And so much of what I've learned through the years, I learned through experience and through the deals that I do. I always say that the stuff that I know isn't taught in any classroom. It's just stuff I've learned through the experience of conducting so many deals. So Brian, I want to talk a little bit. You had mentioned before the break that your Prospect has a program specifically geared towards investors. Tell me a little bit about that.
What they're looking at is it's a professional investor. We're not looking at somebody who just recently went to a flip class or anything like that. It's a professional investor. It's geared more towards someone that is looking to buy and hold, someone that has already financed at least 10 properties. Usually under Fannie Mae limits, the maximum amount of finance properties you can have is 10. Under this one, we have a special waiver that will allow them to finance home path only properties up to 20 properties. It gets a little difficult to work with somebody that owns that many properties just for the fact that there's just a lot of documentation that's involved. But once you set the initial kind of set number 11 up and then work your way up, all you're basically doing is updating the assets as they continue to accumulate more.
Wasn't the number of finance properties at 4 for a while?
It was at 4 for a while. There's a lot of lenders that stay at that 4 cap. There are special waivers that lenders can get. They can go up to 10. But a lot of lenders do have a 4 cap as well.
But Fannie Mae guidelines does allow for up to 10?
They do allow up to 10, yes.
Okay, and now Prospect goes up to 20 now?
Yes, but it has to be number 11 through number 20 have to be Fannie Mae home path properties.
They have to be. So how's that going to change with this new restriction? I'm not say restriction, but the elimination of the home path product. Do we know yet?
We do not know, but I wouldn't be shocked if that waiver does go away as the program basically tends to tighten up as we look at it from the lender side. I would consider that's probably going to be something that steps to the wayside.
You're saying you expect your product to go away at Prospect, unfortunately?
If I was a betting man, I would say probably.
And what type of interest rates do they carry after 11, 12 properties? I mean, are they higher risk, obviously? Does the interest rates go up substantially?
No, they don't. They're actually a very competitive rate because this requirement, or on this particular program, it does require a 25% down payment. Okay, because of that, there's not a lot of hits or adds to the rate. So I would say probably on average, if you're looking at an investment property and say you own 2 properties versus this one where you own 11, you might see an eighth of a point difference in rate, but nothing substantial by any means.
And is this something that that is held in house then essentially? I mean, are these loans sold on the secondary market at that point?
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Okay.
Prospect sells about 95% of what we sell. We sell direct, or what we originate. We sell directly to the agencies, to Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Ginnie Mae.
But after 10 properties, how are you selling the properties?
It's going directly to Fannie Mae. It's a special Fannie Mae waiver that we have.
So if you got a special Fannie Mae waiver that enables Fannie Mae to purchase the properties when they're owned. Okay. And you also have a foreign national buyer program. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's been a recent development with us. We launched it here about 2 or 3 weeks ago. What we've seen in the Florida market, you've obviously see a lot of cash that's coming in from overseas. A lot of buyers that are looking for second homes. If you look at the Miami market, it's just completely on fire based on cash from Central and South America. And under this program, we went to Freddie Mac and said that this is what we want to do. And we came up with a set of guidelines. They agreed with it. So what we've actually set up is it's a foreign national second home buyer. So this isn't something that we're looking for investment properties from overseas. This is a true second home. But it's given us the ability to offer it with only a 25% down payment, which in the current market, most people are looking at 35% down payment if you are a foreign national.
Very nice, very nice. And let's talk a little bit about renovation loans. That's always a great talking point. I think it's an area of real estate that scares a lot of real estate professionals. But tell me a little bit about how renovation loans can help buyers get into homes and how you can assist them.
I personally love the renovation loans. Prospect has made a real commitment to renovation lending. We're considered the second largest renovation lender nationally. So I always tell people this isn't just something we offer; it's something we actually do. What I look at in our market here, over the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of people that have had trouble getting into a home just from the fact that a move-in ready, a great home, there's multiple offers that show up. There's a lot of competition for those homes, so people kind of get pushed out of the market. But what we found is that if someone's willing to live around a little bit of dust and some paint and stuff, that they can get into a home, they can renovate it to exactly what they want to do, and we can help them finance that renovation. So it's not like you're buying a home and you have to have this huge lump sum of money outside of the closing. We can help finance the renovations for you as well.
Yeah, and the key to using a renovation loan is that the property must appraise, after repaired value at a point where the acquisition price is low enough that you can add the repairs on top of that. But you can go over the appraised value, right? For instance, if the after repaired value on a property is $120,000 and the purchase price is say $90,000, if repairs come in at $35,000, the after repaired value, or can you do that?
Under the FHA program, yes, you can. There are we have a couple of different programs. As I mentioned, we offer renovation for home path properties, but then we also have a Fannie Mae and an FHA program that we allow. And under the FHA program, it does allow you to go above that final appraised value. So, we're fortunate. A lot of the people who are buying these homes they're getting them at a good price. They're bidding right. They're getting their homes at the good price. They're not trying to over-improve the properties in a lot of cases. So, what they're doing is they're taking a pretty good home and they're making it, a great home, and it's fitting into exactly their needs. So we don't run into a lot of that. But if you do have a situation where the equity's not quite there, we can definitely help them out under the FHA program.
And it seems, as a real estate professional, so many realtors are scared of 2 or 3K loans. And where does all the, this fear come from? Where's the problems in this loan?
I think what happens is people overanalyze the loan. They look at it as, there's this whole thing where you have the loan and the renovation, and there's all this stuff that they're looking at it. I break it down to a very simple program where the underwriting guidelines are exactly the same as a regular loan. If you're doing an FHA, a 203K, which is a renovation program, if you break it down and look at it, all you're doing is you're doing a regular purchase loan, and then on the side you're setting up an escrow account to pay for the repairs. And don't overanalyze the fact that everything is the same for the underwriting of your loan. The only difference is you have to provide a little bit more documentation so that we can see what you want to do for your renovation.
And I think a lot of buyers get off track where they're kind of talking to multiple contractors? I mean, is it advisable just to pick one contractor from the get-go to get it done quicker? And then
I always advise people to get it, be decisive. You don't change your mind a whole lot, because that's where a lot of the delays will show up. You have somebody that you're a week away from closing, and they decide that instead of putting in tile floors, that they want to put in hardwood. And then that suddenly starts changing the complexity of the loan. You have to look at things as how the value is affected based on those different items. So, be decisive, get in there, determine who you want to do the work, and determine it early on, and stick with what you want to do and see that through. And it's really basically a normal loan unless you're indecisive.
And let's talk a little bit about what a loan-ready buyer is, and something that I bring up on my show a lot is the importance of getting yourself approved for a mortgage prior to entering the mortgage markets. Talk about this a little bit.
Absolutely. What we find is, the statistics will show about 90% of buyers right now will start their home search online. So what they'll do is they'll start searching for a home. They'll say, hey, I like this house. They'll call up somebody like yourself or a member of your team, and they want to go see a house. What I would say is be loan ready. That way, when you find the house, need to know what, when you're walking into a home, know what you can afford. Okay, don't just kind of guess and say, you know what, I would love to live in this $300,000 house, but I make minimum wage. Mm-hmm. Know what you can exactly afford. Let your lender review your documentation, your income, where your down payments are, that type of thing. So you can really take a look, and the lender can definitely say, I can do your loan. This is how much you can buy. This is how much you can afford to pay on a monthly basis. Yeah, and it's a common, complaint amongst real estate agents. People call the realtor before they're approved for a mortgage, and they want to go out and look at properties, and they get upset when the realtor doesn't want to go out and show them the properties, and and they ask them, are you pre-approved? Can you provide me with documentation? And many times, they are, but many times they are not, and it's a common, just miscommunication that has developed in the real estate business through the years. And I encourage, and I've heard you do this a number of times too, I encourage my buyers to even go a little bit deeper than a pre-qualification, which is a credit approval, where someone's just kind of looking at your credit, but you're actually telling them, I've got $5,000 in the bank and I make $3,000 a month. When you actually go to the level where you get pre-approved, where you're actually having someone take a look at that documentation and can verify, yes, this is how much we're going to state that you make, and this is how much money you have available for a down payment. Yeah, and absolutely, because at that point your offer becomes just about as good as cash, and your only contingencies are the appraisal and the title of the subject property, and especially in the Tampa Bay market where 40% of the market is cash controlled, 45%. I mean, you can't come to the table with just a pre-qualification letter. And if you're competing with the bank-owned properties, there's a lot of competition amongst investors. So it's very important, to get that pre-approval, a full approval in place prior to entering the mortgage markets. So a lot of great information there. Brian, tell me a little bit about how the listeners can get in touch with you off the air. Okay, well, Prospect Mortgage has two offices. One in our market has two offices, one in Riverview and one in Tampa. I'm actually seated in the Tampa office, and can be reached at my email, brian.powell@prospectmtg.com, or probably the easiest way to get a hold of me is my cell phone, 813-900-4668. Again, that's 813-900-4668.
All right, a lot of great information. And Brian, thanks for coming on to the show. I greatly appreciate the information.
Thank you.
And if you didn't catch that information, you can find him up on the Tampa Bay Radio website in the past guest section after the show. So if you want to reach out to him, a lot of great products, especially if you're an investor here in the Tampa Bay region, reach out to Brian Powell with Prospect Mortgage. If you're just tuning in, you've been listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Coming back from break, we're going to be talking with Debbie Wilson and Sue Canner of GroutWorks, so please stay tuned.
In the market for a reverse mortgage? Contact Access Reverse, a local company with personalized service in the Bay Area. Call them at 727-347-0305 or visit accessreverse.com for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to your home and speak with you about the best options for your reverse mortgage. Plus, they offer the lowest closing costs. Don't just get a reverse mortgage. Get the right reverse mortgage with Access Reverse. Visit accessreverse.com. NMLS number 1179063.
Thinking about buying a home? Find out how the HUD Home Store can help you. Visit HUDHomestore.com. Look at HUD homes available for sale near you or nationwide. Why HUD Home Store? HUD will pay up to 3% of the buyer's closing cost. The price of the home is based on an FHA as-is appraisal, which is already completed, saving you an average of $400. And there is an owner-occupant priority bidding period during the first 30 days. Want to know more? Visit HUDHomestore.com.
Since opening its doors 120 years ago, Stewart Title Company has established a lasting legacy of providing professional title services. Even other title insurance companies know Stewart Title Company because they do their actual underwriting for them. Stewart is here to provide a wide range of resources to help improve any real estate transaction. To learn more about protecting yourself against hidden title hazards that may threaten your financial investment, call Melissa Stoddard at 813-431-8025. That's 813-431-8025. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage. You're listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show with local expert Jamie Meloni. Now, here's Jamie.
Hi again, everybody. Thanks for staying tuned in to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. If you're just tuning in, you'll find this show on every Mondays at noon. So please tune in as my show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. In the last segment there, we were talking with Brian Powell of Prospect Mortgage. I want to go ahead and continue this next segment with my next guest, Debbie Wilson and Sue Canner of GroutWorks, a local business here in the Tampa Bay region. GroutWorks started in Indiana as a weekend project for Debbie Wilson in 1994. And as the business grew, she decided to expand to Florida in 1997, where the weather was better and there was an abundance of tile and grout. GroutWorks quickly again grew into a thriving business and has won many service awards over the years. After 20 years in the industry and over 12,000 jobs, there's not much GroutWorks hasn't seen. Their motto is Dirty Grout, we can help. GroutWorks provides a service to refurbish your tile and grout to look like new through the cleaning, regrouting, color sealing, and repairing. GroutWorks has created and maintained an amazing reputation winning Angies List Super Service Award for 8 years. Debbie and Sue, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Now, tell me a little bit about your company.
Well, our company is, as you said, named GroutWorks, and we provide the service of refurbishing customers' tile and grout to look like new.
And it's always a challenge cleaning grout. I know I've bought some, cleaners and I spray it on there and I try to wipe it and nothing seems to change. Tell me a little about the process of properly refinishing grout.
The process that we do depends on the circumstances. We do everything from cleaning to regrouting, where we can go in and assess a shower that has a bunch of fungus or mildew growing. Mm-hmm. And in those circumstances, we typically do what is called regrouting. We take out the old grout, replace it with new grout. On floor tile, we do more of a refurbishing process where we come in and clean the tile and grout, and we'll color seal it back to its original color. Or if the customer is unhappy with the original color, we can also opt to change the color of the grout. and at the same time sealing it, because that is what we all struggle with, is how do you maintain that grout after it does look like new? Can you keep it that way? And so that is what we try to share with the customers after we have finished, that you can actually keep that grout clean.
Now, and you got your coworker Sue Canner here
Yes.
in studio with you. You call her an air traffic controller. Tell me a little about that. That kind of confused me. I saw her job title. I was like, wait a minute, do I got the right person on the air here?
I'm so fortunate to have had Sue work with me for 8 years now, and her job role is keeping all of the balls up in the air, because her role as the person who answers the phone to have the customer set up for estimates, she also handles all of the employees out in the field. And when you're juggling 5 or 6 jobs a day and juggling my schedule and juggling the phone coming in, she tries to keep all of the balls up in the air as an air traffic control. So she helps keep it in motion in a nice and effective manner.
Yeah, my assistant sent me your show card and it said air traffic control. I was like, wait a minute, I got a pilot or something in the...
I'm just about a pilot.
So anyways, just some last minute planning and stuff kind of confused me a little bit there. But that's interesting that you have the job title, air traffic control. I know, it's very busy in many businesses, so I'm sure, that it's no different for yours as well. Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct.
Now, tell me, how did you start the company? What was your motivations and behind them?
Yeah, my motivations was a little bit unique. It started as a weekend project. I had been in the corporate world a little bit and decided I wanted to do something on my own, and had a friend that was involved in it, and started it as a weekend project. And by the time a couple of advertising pieces hit, it was to the point where I needed help, and that started up in Indiana. And when I realized what a need there was a desire to come where the weather was better and there was a lot more tiles. So we expanded down to Florida, and it again quickly grew. And even as the market has ebbed and flowed, it has always, if you provide a good service, I have learned over the many years of doing it that the customers will be there. And so when we do a lot of referral base of customers, we do a lot of repeat customers. That supplies about half of our business today. In addition to the fact that the Angies List Super Service Award for the last 8 years has provided us with a great source of customers who come and continue to use us.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that. How does the Angies List Super Service Award, how do you get that?
Sure. So Angies List is if you're not familiar with it, it is a customer referral program where if you are a member, you can find contractors to hire on that, and then after they use the company, they rate you in 5 or 6 different areas, from professionalism to the job content to whether or not it was priced appropriately and so forth. And so then they rate you on a typical A to F type scale, and when you maintain an A over a period of time, Angie's List will give you a Super Service Award. And so they do a maintenance of that, and when you do well, they give you what in the service industry is something that is very sought after.
How many different feedbacks essentially do you have to generate a rating before,
To generate a rating, it's usually in the ballpark of about 10 to 20. People, so it's similar to a Google review, where they can review you. And GroutWorks, for example, we have about 125 reviews with Angie's List that 99% of them are A's. So that is wonderful for the service industry, and especially as a consumer in today's market. As you know, we all struggle with trying to find a good service person. And service is something that Angie's List really tries to make sure that they are having people that provide that good service.
Now, GroutWorks is strictly grout refurbishing. You do not do any installations, am I correct?
That is correct. We primarily, we have found a niche that has done well just from a standpoint of refurbishing. So like we said, we do everything to make existing tile look like new, and if that means cleaning or regrouting or repair, that's what we do. We walk into a homeowner, or we do residential as well as commercial work, so we can walk in and assess whether or not the customer needs to have a regrout in their shower, or if it is something that we can help with. And
then you also seal the grout too as well. Is most grout, I guess, when people install tile, do they seal it, or the installers? How does that work?
Yeah, that is always been a debate for the many years. It is not typically sealed after it is installed, and unless a homeowner or somebody who has installed it knows to seal it, they wouldn't know to do it. But grout by nature is porous. It is a concrete material, and you add moisture with that, and it gets dirty. So the minute you start mopping the floor, that dirt penetrates. So
Yeah, it seems like grout gets dirty immediately.
yes.
You never see perfectly white grout or whatever color it is in homes. And so I
Yeah.
guess the sealing is a huge part of that.
It is a very critical part if you want to maintain your grout to look like new. It is very important to be able to maintain it. I mean, you want a grout that when it gets dirty, you are able to clean it. And so the sealing process that we offer absolutely helps to maintain that, and that is why we have a lot of repeat customers. You know, we have people on average about 5 years come back and say, I need to have it redone.
Yeah, I was about ready to ask, how long after a service before
Yeah.
it's needed again?
Yeah, on average it's about 5 years.
So it really lasts that
Yeah,
long?
there's lots of maintenance in between that we give recommendations. For example, you know, water is the enemy to a tile floor, and if you are pushing around dirty water, it is going to pool up in that grout joint. So things that they have today, such as Swiffers or the steam cleaners, those are wonderful to try to maintain that grout in a original color look.
Yeah, I know I've bought some, products, from the Home Depot and stuff, and it just doesn't work very good. I've taken out sandpaper before, kind of sanded it down. Is that the process that you do when you clean, or how do you clean it?
Yeah, so our process is very laborious. I mean, they go in, they clean it, and it is hands and knees. Sometimes we do bring in equipment where they will actually do the pressure cleaning, but depending on the circumstance, we typically will clean it first. Then the color seal is applied. It is very labor intensive, where they are applying it just to the grout joints, and the color seal is what is actually sealing those grout joints to help prevent the dirt from penetrating.
And what areas do you cover?
Yeah, we cover all of Tampa Bay. We cover Pinellas as well as Hillsborough.
Very good. And you cover, you said Hillsborough, Pinellas, and where else?
Pasco.
Pasco.
Yes.
All right, and tell me a little bit about, you have a website. Do you offer any special discounts or services? Or
We sure do.
Tell me a little bit about that.
We have a website that you can find out more about us at GroutWorksFlorida.com. And if you go to the website, we do have coupons. It also will show you some ideas of the type of service as well as some pictures. But there are coupons that you can get for services provided. We do offer free estimates to come out, where you will get me or one of my guys. And again, you'll start with Air Traffic Control Sue, who will get us out there pretty quickly and then turn around the job pretty quickly. It's usually a process that it can be done within a week.
Sounds like a great plan. I mean, I saw the before and after photos on your website, and it definitely enhances the look and the appeal of the tile. So, Debbie, real quick, how you said your website, GroutWorks?
GroutWorksFlorida.com, or you can call our office at 727-572-5995.
All right, great. And if you didn't catch that information, she'll be up on the TampaBayRadio.com website as a past guest. Debbie, thank you very much for coming into the show today.
Jamie.
If you're just tuning in, you've been listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. And again, you'll find this show on every Mondays at noon. So I invite you to please tune in, as my show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. Off air, find me at my website again, TampaBayRadio.com, or reach out to me on my phone, 813-760-8516. Again, 813-760-8516. I hope everybody has a great week, and I'll see you back here next Monday at noon on the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show.
The opinions, viewpoints, and promises made during the preceding program are not those